Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to West Mountain Clunkers. Today we will be working on the Pontiac. So this winter we're going to be jumping back and forth from the Buick and the Pontiac because they're both in the garage and we can't work outside, so we'll just be jumping back and forth between these two projects. But today we're working on the floors. We have to finish tacking in the floors that we welded in a previous video. Unfortunately, the car sat outside for a while and there's a crack in the windshield. So when it ran, all the water leaked inside the car and onto the bare metal. So we're going to have to clean that up a little bit. It's not a huge issue, it's just surface rust, so it'll clean right up. And then we're going to cut out the trunk floor because that's super rotted out. And then we'll see where we go from there. So we're getting started on the floor, and I just want to show you guys the state of the floor. It's in ways better, and in some ways not better than it was before. So as you can see, we already showed you before in a previous video. We made up these floor pans. I got them mostly welded in place, and like I said, there's a crack in this window. It rained and got all the surface rust. So that shouldn't be an issue to clean up. That should be pretty easy. And I gotta just make some filler pieces to fill this in. Finish getting welded in. And as you can see, clean up the rest of the interior. We still got bits of the headliner in here. Right here, and like half of it is still back there. And then we just got some trash in here that needs to be cleaned up. Get this old seat cushion out of here. And maybe work on these doors. This handle right here broke inside the door, so this does not open the door anymore. It has to be opened from the outside only, which is a pain in the butt. So we might take this off and address that issue, and maybe a few issues elsewhere in the car. Yes. And I mean, this is disgusting anyway. It needs to go. So our plan is we want to make custom door panels. We want to save these garnish moldings, save this trim piece. We could probably save the door handle, the window crank, maybe the armrest. I'm not sure.
I think we could save that.
I mean, it's not in bad shape. It needs to be redone, but we might be able to save that. But yeah, we're gonna obviously have to redo all of this, and
That's on every door too.
yeah, on every door. So
Yeah.
So here's a old gas pedal that broke off. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of been neglected. At least the interior of the car has. So it's time to kind of clean this thing up.
Alright, so while he's taking care of the interior up there, I've been tasked with cutting out the pan and the trunk. So here's the new fuel cell. We're gonna throw that back there, and then we're also going to relocate the battery back here as well. It's no worse or better shape than the pans are up front, but I would like to save this well right here for a spare tire, and then this right here is perfect for that fuel cell. And then we have a nice little shelf right there for a battery. But I mean, that's just an idea. We'll see how this all turns out. We have a lot to cut out and a lot to put in, so it's gonna take a while. And I think it's time to open that door and wear a mask too. So alright, so I got the trunk cleaned out a little bit. It's pretty rotted, more than I thought. So I think I already drew with some soapstone kind of a rough outline what I wanted to do. The soapstone actually went through the floor right there, so I think I just need to check other areas for rust. So yeah. solid. So we're just going to end up cutting out most of this. I think we're going to delete on the filler tube, the filler neck, and make that flat. And then, yeah, we still have to put some that crap around there. Seam
sealer.
Yep. And then have to drop the gas tank, and then we will work on putting the new floor in.
Alright, while Chance is working on cutting the trunk out, I've been working on basically resurfacing the floor in here, and I'm gonna redo some of these welds and stuff. But for the most part, the floor is covered in this like tar insulation, which is like got like a felt type stuff over it. It's a pain in the butt to get up off the floor. You can't really grind it off or sand it off. It'll just gum up your equipment and stuff like that. The easiest solution I found is use something like Goo Gone or Goo Off, something that's like an adhesive remover. This specifically is for grease and tar, which seems to work out pretty good. I just spray down there, let it sit for a few minutes, and I just took a putty knife and it just scrapes right off. I mean, it was like this entire back area was covered in this, and it probably only took about 20 minutes to scrape it all off. So right now, I'm going to take this off. Under here is a radiator heater, which goes, obviously, it brings hot coolant in here, and there's a fan under that blows a hot air up through these vents. There was a shroud right here, which I already took off, but I'm going to take this off so we can get to the radiators under here and get the rest of this insulation out. But these screws are seized, so I'm going to have to cut them out real quick, which I'll do right now, and then we'll see what these radiators look like. Alright, just cut these off. Before anybody says anything, I know I shouldn't use a cutoff wheel to grind. Okay? Alright, got those screws cut out. Got that off. This is the radiator I was talking about. There's hoses that go out here to the, I believe the water pump, and brings hot coolant in. There's a fan underneath that blows the hot air up to these vents. So that's basically the heater.
Looks like those.
Yeah, it looks like 4 screws holding that in. Hopefully those aren't seized.
Yep. Maybe some of those help a little bit.
Maybe I'll have to cut those out too, but I'd like to save this heater and maybe the fan underneath, and I think it'd be cool to get that working again. So yeah, that's where I'm at on the inside, and I'll probably work on getting this out and getting the rest of this cleaned up, resurface that, finish up these welds. There's some pieces I have to put in some strips right here, and next to the rockers, and I think that'll be pretty much it. Alright, so we got the trunk floor cut out, and as you can see, we cut out a little bit more than we originally planned. As you guys probably know, once you start cutting rusty metal, it just kind of starts expanding from there. We still have to cut out a little bit more around here. We noticed some holes under here, so we'll cut patch for that. But we've got a nice patch panel right here that's going to fit right here. And if you look right here, we cut out the filler neck for the gas tank, and we're just going to match this side right here. We're going to match it to this side. We've got patch ready to be bent into shape for that. So all we have to do now is just, we're going to rust encapsulate just this general area. We're not going to go crazy with it, and then we're going to spray some rust through or weld through primer on these flanges right here. So that's basically it for the trunk. We're about to bead roll those panels, and then on the cabin here, actually go to the so I basically got the majority of this down to bare metal for the most part. Still have a little bit of the tar coating in here from the factory, which is a pain in the butt to get off. These little spots right here, I don't think it's gonna be a huge issue, so we can probably just put some rust encapsulator over that. I got most of the surface rust off the fresh metal over there. Obviously there's a little bit in the edges here, but rust encapsulate it, it'll be fine. So yeah, most of this metal is super pitted. I have some rust converter that we can put on this to convert it back to paintable metal. Problem is, it's kind of cold here in the garage, and it says the working material has to be minimum 60 degrees to work, for the chemicals to work, and the garage right now is like just under 60, and this metal feels like it's maybe 40 degrees, so it's a little chilly. So as far as, I mean, I'm gonna still stitch this up and make the patch panels, but as far as painting the floor, we might wait until the spring when the weather warms up. So, but I got all the sill plates off on every door. There is one little hole on this side that I have to patch. There's a little hole right here that we have to patch, but that is the only rust damage that was under these sill plates, which is pretty good. So yeah, that's where we're at. So alright, so we got this patch panel tacked in. It's bead rolled. It looks decent, good enough for us. I know some of the lines are kind of wonky. With VC Queen, you really can't notice it. Yeah, and also my welding is not super great, but the panel's not going anywhere. So yeah, we got tacked in. Clearly we have a lot of cleaning up to do on these welds, and just some pinholes in here and there that I got fixed. And we gotta make a panel for this because this is rotted and I just keep blowing through it. So we gotta make a patch panel for this. And we got 3 patch panels up here. We kind of underestimated this piece, so we're just gonna fill that in right there. And then same with those pieces. We also have to make a patch panel for this spare tire. Well, as you can see, it's pretty rotted, so that'll be a little bit of work too. And then we got a piece that fits in right here. It's just a matter of tacking that in as well. So it's coming together slowly, but it's coming. So yeah, that's basically where we're gonna stop for this video. So all right, so as you saw, we got a panel in the trunk. We have to clean it up a little bit, finish welding it in, and then we're gonna just throw some rust encapsulator over it, and then maybe paint the rest of the trunk. There's some crusty old seam sealer that we want to scrape out before we get too crazy with the paint back there. But it's a lot better than where it was, I think. And we got the inside of the car. I spent a few hours sanding and grinding in there and scraping. And I think I got the floor basically to a point where we can paint it now. But I think I mentioned earlier where it's too cold in here and the rust converter that I have isn't going to work in this temperature, so we have to wait for that to warm up a little bit. So I think aside from a couple patch panels on the floor in here, it's coming together.
Yeah, we're gonna finish tacking the trunk together, and then hopefully we can get that fuel cell in there. And we will make a spot for the battery. We want to move that to the trunk too. So it's a slow process. It's a little trial and error with us. Clearly we don't know what we're doing, so it takes us a couple tries to get something right. So,
mostly errors.
A lot of errors.
So
a lot of fixing errors.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't think we got everything done that we wanted to in this video. We didn't get all the interior pulled out. We still have to do that. We still have the headliner in there. I got one door card off, and use that to make a template. And we're still working on parts for that 472. So far, I think that engine is going to work. We looked over it multiple times. We don't see any issues with that engine so far. So at this point, we're just gathering parts for it. And at some point, we're going to tear these fenders off, and so we can get under the hood a little bit better and pull that straight A out, and then work on the front end. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this content, leave a like and subscribe. We could definitely
leave a constructive comment.
Yeah, that's cool. We could always use a lot more subscribers. So thanks for watching.